Skycraft Diaries represents the Germanwings Flight 95. That was a tragic event that occurred on March 24, 2015. The flight was en route from Barcelona, Spain to Germany. It was carrying 150 people on board. The flight's pilot in command was 34-year-old Captain Patrick, who had 10 years of experience, including 6,000 flight hours, while the co pilot was 27 years old Andreas Lubitz, who joined Germanwings in September 2013 and had 630 flying hours. The crew members were the same. The total tenure of the flight was 1 hour 56 minutes. At 9:01 a.m., Flight 9525 took off from runway 06R at Barcelona Prat Airport on 24 March 2015. The flight was 26 minutes behind the schedule, so after apologizing the delay of flight, pilot promises the passenger to compensate with the time. At 10:9:31, after crossing the French coast near Toulon, the aircraft left its assigned cruising altitude of 38,000. The pilot asked the co-pilot to prepare for the landing gear, but what co-pilot replied was stunning, and what he said, hopefully we'll see. It was 9:30 a.m. Crew established contact and received flight route over France. So, pilot handed over the control and radio communication to co-pilot and left the cockpit. After a while, co-pilot changed the current altitude of 38,000 feet to 100 feet and plane starts descending. 100 feet is the lowest possible altitude. Neither the passenger nor of any crew member, including the pilot, notices the descent. However, the controller did. Later, Captain was returning from the restroom and knocks the door of cockpit, but not get any response. He found the door locked. He wanted to access the emergency code, but it was disabled. The co-pilot switched on the door lock to prevent access to cockpit. This feature in the airjet installed to prevent the hijackers to enter to the cabin. In that time, air traffic control were tried to sustain the radio connection but unable to empower it. Co-pilot was silent. The controller can clearly listen his calm breath over the radio. He was conscious, he was calm, he was composed, and had complete control over the plane. Once the captain realized the plane is descending, he started banging on the door. He banged the door with a hammer. It was no way to enter the cabin unless door will be unlocked from inside. All in vain. There was panic in the cabin, fear all around the cabin. The passengers were screaming. Suddenly, the aircraft drops its altitude from 30,000 feet to 10,000 feet. There were screaming all around the plane. The panic environment created in the whole airplane, and the final alarm listened by the passenger: terrain, terrain, pull up, pull up. Suddenly, the plane disappears at 9:41 a.m. According to BEA final report investigation of Lupits, the BEA final report into the crash was published on 13 March 2016. The report confirmed the findings made in the preliminary report and concluded that Lubitz had deliberately crashed the aircraft as a suicidal murder.